Anne Lee is the brand new movie that is hitting limited theaters on Christmas Day. The film is co-written and directed by Mana Fastfold, who is coming off of co-writing her last film last year with her husband, Brady Corbett, on 2024's The Brutalist. Corbett serves as well in this movie as a co-writer and producer. This film is based on a true story in the late 1700s as we go through the life of Anne Lee, who in this film is played by Amanda Seyfried. She is the founding leader of the Shaker movement. Sorry, the Shaker movement, which, as she is being proclaimed as the female Christ by her followers, as we go through her establishment, her goals for a utopian society, and the idea that longing for sex, for pleasure, is a sin, and all these other different things. And the Shakers worship in this movie and in real life based on song and dance. Also, the movie is Lewis Pullman as Anne's brother William. Thomasin McKenzie's in the movie as Mary Partington, Anne's very close associate in this religious group. Christopher Abbott is in the movie as Abraham, Anne's husband, who is starting to lose patience with the fact that he can no longer have sex with his wife. And Tim Blake Nelson's in the movie as a pastor in the United States when our British religious group in this movie travels to the United States to make camp. The film is 2 hours and 17 minutes and is rated R. Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new review here at Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinenberg. Today I'm reviewing The Testament of Anne Lee. So if you're new guys to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, ring that bell for notifications. I talk movies, TV shows, box office, awards season, any one of those things. If you like them, this channel is for you. Subscribe. I'm trying to get to 400 subscribers in these final 6 weeks of 2025. So it would mean a lot to me if you could subscribe, get me to 400 subscribers. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on The Testament of Anne Lee? If you saw it at any festivals, let me know. If you have not seen it, obviously at these festivals, are you going to check it out on Christmas Day? Or is this one you want to see if it gets any award nominations before checking it out? Love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section down below. And also, guys, please hit that thumbs up button. So I was thankfully invited by Fox Searchlight to go see this movie a month early from its release on Christmas Day. So I'm very thankful from Fox Searchlight to get this invitation to see this movie and their last three movies they've had coming out. So appreciate them for giving me the opportunity to review this movie for you guys early. So the more you guys support my channel, the more opportunities these studios will give me to see their movies early. So The Testament of Anne Lee. So I am not an overly, if you know me personally, I am not a very religious person. I'm proud of the religion that I am with, being Jewish, but I'm not someone who's this overly religious person. I'm not someone who seeks out religious film or TV shows, and especially, I guess, if they're not my religion. So this was an interesting watch where I knew this was an awards play for Fox Searchlight, but I'm not someone who is a religious person. But again, The Brutalist is in my top 5 of last year. So seeing Fastfold and Corbett re-team up for another movie a year later, that is the selling piece, plus Amanda Seyfried. So I think this movie has very similar aspects to The Brutalist and some on a positive, and I think there's some weak spots in this movie for sure. Now, just like The Brutalist, this movie is shockingly a cheap movie to make. It's around a $10 million budget for this movie, and you cannot tell. This is a gorgeous movie that really, as I said in my At a Theater reaction, really puts you in a time machine back to the 1700s, where you feel like the whole setup, the whole production design, the costumes, it's so believable. I think we do live in a time now where there's so many period pieces. It kind of feels like it's expected to have movies look like this. But for this cheap of a budget, just like The Brutalist had a very cheap budget, and that's one of the best looking movies of last year, this is also one of the best production design, costume designs that you'll see in a movie all year long. It is a gorgeous movie, and it's one of the most believable period pieces I have seen all year long. Also on a positive, Brady Corbet returns with his composer from The Brutalist, Daniel Blumberg. Even though this movie, and I said this, the film has a lot of music sequences in there because the way this religious group goes about praying and things like that is through song and dance. So we do get a lot of like musical-esque sequences in the movie. And I thought those were quite nice, but I also thought the score was incredible for this movie. Blumberg was my favorite score of last year for The Brutalist, and now this is easily one of my 4 or 5 favorite scores of this year. So he's definitely a composer. I'm someone who loves composers and music in movies. So he's someone I think everyone should be watching for years to come because this is another incredible score. And this movie is shockingly just really well paced. I don't know if it was the musical element of the movie, but the film is 2 hours and 20 minutes. I think a movie moves very well throughout its runtime. And Amanda Seyfried is just terrific. She's one of the 3 or 4 or 5 best actresses working today. And I compared her to when I was talking to other people about the performance, because people asking me about the movie. I think she could be in line to be like maybe the next Meryl Streep, where everything that she's in, if it's like a serious movie like this, she's going to be considered for Oscars. She's such a terrific actress because she really just gives it her all. She fully commits to this movie. And obviously, from the Mamma Mia movies, she's obviously a very good singer. But she goes through a lot of emotional trauma during the movie. And I don't get into why, but it revolves her children, the births that she gives, and why in her new religion that she's against sex for pleasure. Especially the first act, it's very traumatic for her character. And it's a very fascinating I look at the 1700s because it's a very progressive group where it's a female-led religion where she is the one preaching, and at that time, only males were allowed to be preaching at the time. And plus, she thought she was the living embodiment of Jesus Christ. And at times, that makes her look like a very much insane, cuckoo type person. But you also can understand the believability of why all these people see the light with Ann Lee. And Cypher just brings it her all. It's such a dynamic performance. It captivates you from start to finish. And again, she proves why she's one of the best actresses. The whole ensemble, Thomasin McKenzie, very solid actress, very solid here. Lewis Pullman, didn't know he could sing. He was very good as well. Him and Cypher's dynamic is a key element of the movie. But for me, the biggest problem with the movie is the script. I think it's a quite weak script where this movie feels like if I looked up a plot summary of Ann Lee's life, that's this movie. I feel like this movie is checking off major bullet points in Ann Lee's life. But the problem is we never just sit and dive deep into any point of her life because this whole movie tells the entire story of her life. And it's very tough to do that in a show, more or less a movie. And while the film moves very well, I just think the movie should have maybe focused on 1 or 2 key particular times in her life. The movie's split into 3 chapters, but as I said, this movie feels more like a bullet point checklist of Van Lee. Like, let's go through all of her accomplishments and watch it. Instead of the movie maybe making a stance or, you're just kind of observing this time period in Ann Lee. And at times you're like, should I feel a certain way? The movie isn't really giving you a feeling of should you hate this person? Should you maybe feel like this person's insane? Or should you feel inspired by Ann Lee and this type of religious movement? It just feels like a PowerPoint presentation of Ann Lee's life. And because of that, I just felt very distant to the characters and the story. I didn't find myself caring about the brother-sister dynamic. I especially didn't care about the Mary and Anne dynamic, which seemed like it was supposed to be more important than it was. Random characters popping out of the movie. I just felt distant to the characters and the story. Like I understood what was going on. It's a very straightforward film. I just thought it could have dove a lot deeper into those parts where I was watching it. It wasn't bad, but I just thought I wanted to connect to any character on an emotional level. And it's not because I'm not Christian. I want to say that right up front. If you're any religion, you don't have to be Christian or Catholic, have Catholicism as your religion to watch this movie. It's not really excluding people of different religions here. I just thought I wanted to learn more. And instead of just like going through checkpoints, I wanted them to focus on particular points of her life. But it's just trying to knock everything out. And that causes for, in my opinion, a weak and distant script. So great performances. Great lead performance, amazing score, and a gorgeously looking time period piece. I just think the script really holds this movie back from making it a great or even good movie. So overall, I'm giving The Testament of Anne Lee a 3 out of 5 stars. I'm going 61% for The Testament of Anne Lee. What are your thoughts on this movie? Let me know down in that comment section. Subscribe to Max Talks Movies. Like this video. I'll see you guys in another video very, very, very soon.